Get started with our budget workshop.
Councilman Sauls is on the way up.
Huh?
Councilman Sauls is on the way up.
This time, gotta cool. See everybody sitting up here now, he's retired. Councilman Saul gotta work. That's the difference. Okay, Board of Disabilities here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Come on, here.
Hi. Hi, good afternoon. I'm Debbie Walsh. I'm the Executive Director at Jasper County Board of Disabilities and Special Needs. We send a request to you all each year, so thank you very much for that. Most of you know who we are. We serve people with developmental disabilities as well as physical disabilities, lifelong here in Ridgeland and most of the Jasper County area. We have 6 group homes here, day program, early intervention, and case management. So we're serving people with disabilities such as Down syndrome, autism, head and spinal cord injuries, anything that's lifelong. We had a change in how we are funded. Most of you know that we are typically funded through South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs with a prospective payment every 2 weeks from them with a fixed price of funding per person, amount of funding per person for the year. That has now changed as of April 1. We have a direct billing system called fee for service. So we now bill after the event and get paid later after the fact. That has made things a little bit more difficult, a lot more difficult to budget, because previously, like I said, we had a fixed price per person per year. Now we have a price per who is in the house every night and who comes to day program every day, as well as early intervention. So it's made things a little bit more difficult to budget for, because the group homes is pretty fixed. We know who lives there. We know you're there every night unless you're visiting your family or, unfortunately, if you're in the hospital. Day program, people come from our group homes and from the homes where they live with their families. So somebody may be on vacation, somebody may not come that day. It does, as I said, make it a little bit more difficult to budget for the exact amount of funding we need to run the programs. We've also, of course, had some COVID-related issues, as most people have. A lot of staffing issues. Trying to get fully staffed has been a chore. We schedule 4 or 5 interviews, 2 people show up. It's been like that for quite a while. If we don't have enough people to run the group home, our overtime costs have skyrocketed this year. We are not a facility that can close. We operate similar to nursing homes and assisted livings where somebody has to work all the time. So if somebody can't come in, somebody else has to work, and our overtime costs have been rather astronomical over the past year and a half or so. We're working very hard to hire to fix that, but we're all doing the best we can with that. That's kind of where we are right now. The group homes that we serve, there are 6 of them. They're right here in Ridgeland, all of them. The farthest one from town is the Wagon Branch home, located off of Wagon Branch Road. 3 female group homes, 3 male group homes. And as I said, those have to be fully staffed. Those people come to day program every day, as well as the people who live at home with their families. We are entirely responsible for that transportation. So we have the vehicles, we run the staff to pick everybody up in the morning, bring everybody back in the afternoon. That's all part of our service. Questions? Comments?
Ms. Walsh?
Yes, sir.
If your budget is based on what the state is giving you, why is it more difficult for you to deal with reimbursement?
Two reasons. The biggest reason is the payments from the state used to be prospective payments. In other words, we would get paid twice a month. So the payment that we would have gotten on May 1st would be for the 2 weeks leading up from May 1st to May 15th. So we would get paid ahead of the fact, which would help us with payroll. The other problem now is we did get paid on a bulk rate for serving everybody pretty much every day. Now that could be lessened because we may not get paid for somebody coming from their home. If we used to get paid for them no matter how often they came. Now we get paid when they come.
Okay, but are you not being paid based on services rendered?
Yes, we are being paid on services rendered, but
Okay.
we may not render the same amount of service.
Right, but you're yet being paid for the services that you are rendering. So why should you at any time have a deficit?
No, we have a deficit. But I'm trying to find a better way to explain
Let me
it.
give you an example.
So- Okay,
If your expenses for this month are $1,000, for example, those are your expenses for this month.
correct.
So you're being reimbursed for $1,000.
No,
So why not?
we may not be reimbursed for $1,000.
But
So, because previously we were getting paid a lump sum no matter what. So we got X amount of money for everybody to come every day, whether they came or not.
Okay, so you're saying
and that was maybe-
being paid for services you did not render before.
If that was the case, we did have a recoupment to the state periodically when they would recoup those funds. But we had the money up front to work with. Now, we still have the same expenses because I still have to staff, no matter how many people come in, I still have to have an 8-to-1 staff to consumer ratio.
Right.
So I'm still paying the staff, but now I might be paying the staff today when 40 people came in instead of 60 people. So we would only get paid for 40 people instead of 60 people. But I still have to pay the staff the same amount of money.
But
It's-
why would you ask for a reimbursement for 60 when you have only 40?
I wouldn't.
So,
It just worked out where there was more money to serve this many people, no matter how many people showed up that day. Because they knew for a while that you still had to staff it. It's similar to when we have a vacancy at the group home, which we do now, of 20, full would be 24 people, 24 residents. Right now, we have 3 residents, 3 vacancies. So one of our group homes has 2 consumers living in it right now instead of 4. I still have to pay the staff, the same staff to oversee 2 people that I would to see 4 people. But I'm only getting paid now for 2 people. I still have to pay the staff, but we're not getting paid for the other 2 people that aren't living there.
so in other words, you don't want actual, you want projected. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Madam
sir.
Chair?
Yes,
How does it, I'm new here, so
Sure.
maybe it's a stupid question, but it's not a stupid question, it's stupid. How do you get these people? I mean, how do people know that you're exempt?
A variety of ways. So for residential, there is a state, what they call a critical list, that the South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs keeps for the entire state. Right now, there's about 2,000 people waiting for group home placement on that list. So we could end up with, so we have a vacancy. What happens then is our residential director looks over the list, eliminates whoever, in other words, if we have a female vacancy, they eliminate all the men, and then start looking at who might be an appropriate fit for the other people who live in that home, and contacts case managers and/or the residential directors of the other area disabilities and special needs boards. There's one of us in every county. So that,
And that you had, as you say, people don't show up. Do you have some kind of rule that says if you don't show up 3 times?
oh no, that was staffing. who don't, it was
No,
staff
no.
who didn't show up for
You
interviews.
said that you get paid
Oh, okay.
per person.
No, we are not allowed to terminate people unless the family decides that they can't come anymore. So we would keep that spot open for them all the time.
So they are they're detriment because you don't get paid.
Well, I don't
They
want
should
to
show up.
say that. Yes, they should show up.
Right.
If they're awarded a spot, at some point, the case manager might contact the family and say, you know, do you still want this service or not? Because if you don't, there's probably 10 other people who want to come to day program in that spot.
You have a program that does that automatically? Like, for example, you don't show up, you something,
No.
call and say why?
They do call and say why, yes. Our early intervention in particular, that's the Birth to 3 program. That's run slightly differently. The early interventionist goes into the family's homes. But if there's occasions where 2 or 3 times they show up for the scheduled appointment, the family isn't there, or the family doesn't let them in, the family doesn't call, we eventually send a certified letter that says, you know,
One last question.
yes.
You have a program that educates these people that they don't show up, they're hurting themselves plus everybody else?
Not a program per se, but the case managers and the early interventionists are responsible for letting the families know this is how this works.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. We're going to move right along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Bob Elliott, SCNRS.
Hello. Hello all. Good to see you again. My name is Bob Elliott. I'm a retired guy who decided to create a foundation to address the nursing shortage. At the last meeting with the council on March 7th, I talked about the nursing shortage, the healthcare crisis in the country and the county. I'm not going to cover that again. I sent you all a copy of my presentation. I was requesting ARPA money from the council for our program to attract and retain nurses. I understand that ARPA money is not available. So I put in a budget appropriation request, and I appreciate the opportunity today to talk about that. I want to talk about where we're at with our current nurse retention program. Basically, we're trying to increase the supply of nurses working in primary care in our local communities. One nurse will see 4 patients on average per hour, so roughly 30 to 40 patients per day. And over the course of a year, if you do the math, that's about 10,000 patients that one nurse will care for. So every nurse that we add into our local community has a tremendous impact. So where we're at now is we are moving forward with Beaufort County, and we have a goal this year of adding 30 nurses to our retention program. We attract them first into the county, and then we retain them by providing financial incentives. I am offering, again, to include Jasper County in our program this year. There are 94 graduates, okay, that are graduating right now from TCL and USCB. I think the commencement ceremony was Friday for USCB. It's coming up May 13th for TCL. There's 94 nurses that are coming out of those 2 colleges. And based on data we obtained from the chancellors, I can tell you that without intervention, only 30 of them, 30 to 35, will work in Jasper or Beaufort County after they graduate. So therein lies the opportunity. There's 94, we've got their names, their locations, where they're living. There are 6 that reside currently in Jasper County. There are 35 in Beaufort County. And although that sounds like a small number, and it is for Jasper County, therein lies part of the issue. Unless we incentivize these graduates to come work in Jasper County and fill these open jobs, you're not going to put much of a dent into the shortfall that currently exists. Now, of the remaining graduates, 50 some odd, they're close enough. They're in close proximity to Jasper County and Beaufort County. They can be attracted with the proper incentive to work in either Jasper or Beaufort County. So we've gone out to these 94 graduates. We've told them about our program. They are graduating as we speak, as I mentioned. They will take the next 2 to 3 months to obtain their license to practice, and then we will start our selection process. You might ask why nurses are not coming to Jasper or Beaufort County. Well, there's a tremendous shortfall everywhere in the state and in the country. And there's some particular barriers, though, to entry, if you will, into Jasper and into Beaufort County. The traveling nurse today is a very popular profession to enter. A substantial amount of additional salary can be obtained if you're a traveling nurse not affiliated with any particular facility or location. We also have issues with affordable housing or lack thereof that will influence someone's decision. And the salary structures are different between South Carolina and Georgia. Nurses today have choices, many, many choices, more choices than ever before. So we've got to get into the game and be competitive if we're going to fill some of these jobs. Now, how many jobs are there open right now in Jasper County? There's 665 as of this morning. Registered nurse job openings in a 25-mile radius service area, if you will, around Jasper County. There are 27 right in Hardeeville, 13 in Ridgeland, 17 in Okatee, in the city or towns themselves. Within a 15-mile radius of Hardeeville, there's 321 job openings. And within a 25-mile radius of Ridgeland, where we are here today, there's 255 RN job openings. So there's a tremendous shortfall. We have an opportunity. They're graduating as we speak. And our program is going to incentivize them to first choose Jasper County for employment and then stay in Jasper. We give an associate degree nurse $6,000, okay, over a 2-year period, and we give a Bachelor of Science nurse, a BSN, $12,000. That's the incentive. So our mission is twofold, and I will conclude my remarks. It is to retain the nurses who are Jasper County residents. I mentioned the number to you already. We want to retain those who are coming from this area to work in Jasper County and retain them for up to 2 years. Our second mission is to attract those that are in close proximity to Jasper County, to incentivize them to come in and work in Hardeeville, at Coastal Carolina, or wherever. These jobs are open in home care, hospice, hospitals, rehab centers, you name it. So the support that I've asked of the council, $48,000, will support 4 BSNs or 8 ADNs. So as we go through our selection process, we look at financial need, and we look at their commitment to the profession, their willingness, obviously, to be employed in the geography we're targeting, and that's why it's either 4 BSNs or 8 ADNs. We'll go through the selection and find out who's most, who meets the criteria. It could be a combination. It will be a combination, more than likely. So in conclusion, I'll leave you with a recent message. This is, by the way, if you don't know, this is National Nurses Week, starting on Friday. And it's celebrated, I believe, next Monday that is Nurses Day, and it was Florence Nightingale's birthday, which is why they have centered this week around nurse appreciation and recognition. And so this president of the International Council of Nurses just published this. I thought it kind of summarized very nicely the situation that our nurses have faced during COVID times and are facing today, and how we are experiencing that as a citizen, as a patient. Nurses have suffered tremendously throughout the pandemic. They have been unnecessarily exposed to the virus, faced attacks from the public, suffered from extreme workloads, and continue to be underpaid and undervalued. If governments continue to put off investing in the health workforce, it will be to the detriment of health systems everywhere. There is no health without a health workforce. I will leave you with that, answer any questions that you may have. I would really love to add Jasper County into the program. It makes so much sense given the close proximity to Beaufort and the fact that many of the healthcare providers have facilities in both counties. But that's going to be your call, whether you want to invest in improvement of healthcare in Jasper County for your citizens. Thank you.
Question. Mr. Elliott, have you or your committee done an assessment with the nurses to determine whether they are interested in remaining in this area or going elsewhere? Because I'm certain other areas are also offering incentives.
It's a really good question. Other areas, other healthcare providers are offering incentives. It's competitive out there. There's signing bonuses, as Marty could attest to. There are there's a lot of recruitment and efforts underway. We look at ourselves as a partner with the healthcare providers. We're all in this together. We're trying to attract them into the county first. Now, to your question, this is our second year in existence, okay? Last year, in our first year, we awarded 4 scholarships, and those recipients are still working in Beaufort County. And when you think that 50-some-odd% of the nurses will change jobs or even leave the profession or leave the area in the first couple of years, I mean, that's a milestone at least. We're hoping to gather additional data from this year's program. 4 nurses, as I mentioned, can make a significant difference, but with funding, we can do 30 or 40. But to answer your specific question, do we know whether our program will incentivize them to stay in Jasper County? The answer is to be determined.
Let's see.
To be determined. Because, to be quite honest with you, all I can tell you is that the reason for the 6,000 and 12,000, we didn't pull those numbers out of the air. It's a salary differential between Jasper County and areas like Pooler and Savannah. You look at the number of jobs and the salaries that are being offered there. And it's also related to the debt that they incur while they're going to school. So that 6 and 12 is well-grounded, but it needs another year to test whether we're going to be successful in attracting and retaining. It's a new program. I can tell you that the first 4 nurses, as I mentioned, are happy. They're being spokespersons for us about the program. They're talking about how it's helped them with their daycare, with their transportation needs, if they're commuting from Hardyville to Hilton Head or wherever. So anyway, long answer to your question. We're 2 years in existence.
We have to move on.
Yes.
But it seems to me it would be very helpful to them if you met with them and informed them and assess whether they would be interested in remaining in the area with incentives.
That's exactly what we're doing. We communicated all 94 what our program is. They're graduating now. Our selection process incorporates that. That's going to happen in the next 2 months. And then I'll be able to answer your question, how many really want to come and work in Jasper County.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Elliott, we're gonna go with Mr. Moyd.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ted Moyd. I'm the president and CEO of Jasper County Neighbors United. We are celebrating our 23rd year in business in Jasper County in the city of Hardyville. I sent you all a packet on the 13th of April telling you about all our accomplishment for the 2021 fiscal year. If you want me to read it, I'll read it, but I think you had it in your packet. I don't need to read it. We are here to thank you all for being a partner with us ever since 2009. We appreciate all that you have done to help us help the citizens of Jasper County. We are truly growing, and we have a meeting on tomorrow night, our regular board meeting. I just wanted you all to see some of the stuff that we are doing and trying to accomplish in Jasper County. We are working with several agencies around the state. We're trying to bring broadband to the total county through a grant, a $500 million grant, with 9 counties on the western side of South Carolina. We are also, we do the food and household delivery. We had a benefactor that gave us 2 truckloads of household goods, and we distribute that throughout Jasper County, and we had fruits and veggies giveaway. We still do the workforce development, the home repair program. We had the COVID van to come out twice this year to do vaccinations. We acquired property. We acquired Main Street, the old library. We thank you all. We owe 1 more payment on that, and it will be JCNU's property. So we thank you for that. Awesome. We are acquiring funds from Low Country Council of Government to rehab Mercy Circle Apartments, our 42-unit apartment complex. That complex was built in the late 70s, early 80s, and all the plumbing with that polyurethane, that gray pipe, they are coming apart and they are cracking. I contacted the city and I asked them for some help. They told me they just couldn't do it, so I'm asking you all to not to fund it, but if you can talk to the Low Country Council of Government, your representative here on this board, and ask them to work with us to help the 42 families out there, because we're going to have to put a backflow on the water meter because it was built in the 70s. And when it was built, although the ordinance was on the board since 1966, when it was built in the late 70s, I guess the inspectors in Jasper did not catch it. And so Beaufort Jasper Water and Sewer Authority want us to put a backflow onto that water meter. And that's about anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000. And we are a nonprofit. You know, we're struggling and we try to do the best that we can. We're trying to work with them to get some grants from them, but if you can talk to your representatives on those boards to see if they can help us with these 42 families because we keep our rent real low. I don't know where you can go in Jasper County and rent a 1-bedroom for $650, a 2-bedroom for $750, and a 3-bedroom for $835. So we keep our rent real low. We are helping our people, and we are asking y'all to help us. We are the only one in the county right now doing home repairs. Beaufort Jasper EOC is no longer doing home repairs. I don't know what the problem is, but we have an influx of people coming every day being sent from Beaufort Jasper EOC and other agencies because we are the only agency in Jasper County that is doing home repairs now. And the money that you all give us, that's what we're using that money for home repair because with the state housing program they used to be a part of, they are not doing as much as they used to because of COVID, and they're not going into the homes to do interior work, so everything is external. And so with that, we are trying to hire a new person to come in and assist me, and so we can write these grants because there's a lot of money out there, and most of the time when we write these grants, we get the funding, but we just need someone to help us write these grants so we can keep the agencies going and helping the people. So we appreciate the $30,000 that you all give us every year, but we're asking for an increase of $50,000 this year if possible, because we need to hire someone, and once we hire that person, we can sustain that person. We can sustain that person because the person know coming on that their job was be to create your job if you want to stay here. I mean, we need a real planner because if you look on our meeting for tomorrow night, we are meeting with some big people. We have big projects going on, and we are asking, you all to work with us because we are the only housing agency in Jasper County that address all of the issues. And we also are working with a developer, a landowner that owns 28 already platted lots with water and sewer for the 8 RP money that we ask, and we are working with them to see if we can turn those lots, because those lots are anywhere from 3/4 to 1 acre, and we are working with them so we can come to you guys and ask you guys to cut those in half. Instead of building 28 affordable houses, we can build 56. And this is a model that we have. We are working with land designer and planner out of Bluffton, and we are working with some architect in Beaufort. And as soon as we get our plan together, this is going to be a model. We want to duplicate this all over Jasper County for the low to moderate income residents, because I want to let you guys know all of the projects that are being approved in Jasper County is great for the economy. But why it's great for the economy, you have to realize when you approve these projects, before anyone can move into these new neighborhoods, guess what? The infrastructure has to go in. The land has to be leveled. And guess who do that kind of work? The people who I serve, the low wage earners. These people are coming in, they don't have anywhere to stay. You have 12, 14, 15 people staying in one house because you got all these developments going on and you didn't realize that you were going to have 2,000 workers here in your county who need somewhere to stay. The hotels are overwhelmed and the people don't want to pay that kind of money. So I'm asking y'all to please help me as much as you can until we can get something stable with the housing industry for affordable residents here in Jasper County. And I appreciate your time and effort, and I answer any questions that you may have.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
One question. On your accomplishments, number 5, was this, is that purchase 37 Main Street, is that a Jasper County purchase or a Hardeeville purchase?
That's a Jasper County Neighbors United purchase, but we purchased the building from the county and the previous owner of the property. So the county had owned the building because the previous owner dedicated it to the county for a library, and they put in the deed that if the county ever built a new library, it was supposed to go back to that family who gave it to the county to establish the Hardeeville Library. So that property was
reverted back into the previous owner, and that's who the sale was made to, with JCNU.
So it did not come from the county then?
No, it did not come from
Okay,
the
but even
county.
though you have it cited as from the county?
Sir?
I said, even though you have it cited in your accomplishments?
Right.
From the county?
Right.
So I just wanted to make it clear that it did not come from the
No,
county?
it did not come from the county.
Okay.
No, it came from a private owner.
Okay, did everyone get that? Okay. All right.
Mr. Moy, just one question.
Yes, sir.
What time tomorrow night? What time is your meeting tomorrow night?
Meeting at 6 o'clock at 37 Main Street, the old library in Hardyville.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Moy, I first want to thank you for what you've been doing. You've been coming up here every year. I've been up here, and you're doing great work, and there's a huge need for it. And I know that you always maximize your dollars at council.
I tried real hard.
Where is the 28 lots at that you?
Well, I really don't want to, it's in Hardyville. It's in the Hardyville area. I don't want to call anyone's name but it's located, because I just not ready to call the name of the person who we're going to purchase it from, because, that could be.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I was just wondering about that.
But once we get that in Hardyville, we are looking for land up in the Ridgeland area to duplicate the same product that we have. And so we want to build these all over the county for low to moderate income residents. And what we plan to do, we plan to just charge for the home, just for the home. We plan to back the land out, because with funding that we get from the government, we don't want to double dip. So what we said, to make it truly affordable, we may, if the board of directors agree, we may back out the land value and just charge for the house, and then it's really truly affordable, where you can build a house for 150 to 175, and we'll do the land in perpetuity.
My next question is, will those rates that you mentioned for 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms apply to that?
Yes.
That you're talking about?
Yes.
Because those rates are phenomenal. I
Yes.
mean, those are 50, 60% less than what market rate is.
Yes, it is. And that's
the key to making it affordable. And it's a big challenge with the cost, but I commend you for that. So good job.
yes, and that's why we like to own our own property, because we can control our own rent, where the government don't tell us that you go up this much or you can't do this. We control our own rent. That's why we like owning our own property.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Any other questions? Thank you all and have a good evening.
Okay, Mr. Malfoy? Mr. Taylor here?
I don't believe he's here.
Yeah. We'll talk about the baseball team and ask for the amount of money he already gives us and some more, but what about Sydney Abernathy?
Yes, ma'am.
Jasper Animal Rescue Mission?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, Madam Chairman, and to the councilmen. Okay, thank you. I'm Cindy Abernathy, and I'm the president of the Board of Directors for Jasper Animal Rescue Mission. And this is Caitlin Shake. She is our executive director of the shelter. Good afternoon. Thank you for seeing us. We've had quite a few challenges over the last couple of years with COVID. We have, as you know, we just got a new animal control, and we hadn't had one in a year. And in the letter, we did tell you that the animal intake from August 1st to 4/1 was 1,081 animals. That is almost double to what we took in the year before at 670 animals. Also, with the increase in animals also comes the increase in pricing. We do our adoptions, but our adoptions, our fee just barely covers the dog or the cat that we are adopting. The average cost for a dog is $101, and that doesn't even include if there's extra vetting, like if a dog comes in, they've been hit by a car, we immediately have to take them to the vet. If they're in good shape and they have no problems, then, you know, they get their heartworm, their medication, microchip. And I also do all of our adoption events as well, so I'm very into what goes on Caitlin's side as well as the public side. The cats have gone up as well. They're 8519, and that includes their vaccines, spay, neuter, microchip. Every dog that's in the county, they come to our shelter, whether they're in good health, they're sick, they're dying, they're aggressive, they come to us. If they're sick, of course, then we have to go to the vet with that. So we did have a raise in our vet medical supplies. And we just did an average, Caitlin did, and I greatly appreciate that. If we take in 800 dogs and 700 cats in the year 2020, that's $9,645 that we're going to be spending on the animals.
That's just the increase from the prices going up.
Right. Our vet bills have doubled. You know, everything goes up. The vet bills have been a challenge. COVID has really hit hard because at one point, you know, nobody was doing anything. They weren't adopting or doing anything. I think all of the employees has had COVID at one time. Caitlin just got over COVID. And then with our rate per our employees, we did have to increase their rates. That is another thing. You know, payroll has always been a challenge for us. But we did want to bring them up to what, you know, we don't want them leaving. We have people that have been with us almost 7 years. They work out in the heat. They work out, you know, they have to, you know, watch dogs suffer. They have to euthanize if they're bad. I mean, I get the fun part where I get to go and play with the dogs. They get the other side, and it's very emotional for them. I mean, if they even talk to me about having to put a dog down, I'm immediately in tears. Our euthanation rate has gone down, which is a plus for us and for the dogs. Now we do, like I said, we take in every animal in Jasper County. But the board of directors this year, we've really gotten some good things going. I don't want to always just rely on, you know, your gracious funding for us. We have a golf tournament that's coming up in September 25th here in Jasper County. We are going to be reaching out to everybody. What I'm told from the gentleman that we can bring in between $5,000 to $10,000. That will help offset any additional money, you know, that we need for extra, like extra dog food, cat food, medical bills, anything. This year I've told everybody we're getting out there, we're gonna hit the streets, we're gonna fundraise. That has not been the thing of the past. We've done fundraisers since I've been president, but before that they didn't. And I just think that we need to get out there, we need to get our name and let people know, you know, that Jasper Animal Rescue Mission is here. And we just want to thank every one of you for always, you know, for your money that you do send us. We're greatly appreciated of that. And if, do you have any questions or concerns?
One question, Madam Chair. Ms. Abernathy, how many full-time employees do you have?
At the moment, we have 5 full-time employees, but fully staffed would be 8 to 9 full-time employees. We're having a very difficult time staffing due to we are only able to offer $8.50 an hour starting, and as you know, the federal pay rate has gone through the roof, and many places in town are offering $13, $14, $15 an hour, and we, due to our budget, we are not able to offer even close to that. So we found it's just nearly impossible to hire new employees. Every employee we have right now has been with us 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and like Cindy mentioned, we have increased their wages to a more livable wage, which is why they are able to stay with us. But we've had a really difficult time staying fully staffed.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
Let me ask you a question. Y'all don't have a cutoff read on these animals? I mean, 'cause that's a huge jump.
No, sir. We're the county shelter. We have to take in any and every animal that comes from Jasper County.
It's actually stated in our contract with Jasper County that we have to accept every animal that comes through our doors. We would love to be able to say no, we're full, but we just can't because there's no other option in this county for these animals. They have nowhere else to go, and they would be most likely just dumped on the streets if we didn't take them in. So no matter how many come through our doors, we have to take them in, we have to find somewhere for them to go, and it becomes extremely overwhelming, it becomes extremely costly, it's hard on our staff, but we just don't turn them away no matter what.
Okay. We thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. This time we're gonna call the sheriff. Ma'am, to bring you back. You listen to a little bit of what you got to say, because your budget got my kids.
Come on now.
Oh, Jesus.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members. It's an honor and pleasure for us to be here. First of all, I want to say thank you for your generous help back in 2021 on January 5th when I took office. We all know the condition we're in, but I really do, we as an agency appreciate what you've done for us.
Thank you.
We gave y'all, like, we gave y'all a package, and we have a couple of other packages that's coming out. As we all know, Jasper County is growing greatly. We initiated a study within the sheriff's office on homes that are being built in Jasper County. We learned that within the next 2 years, it's going to be 20,000 or more homes that's built in Jasper County. Whether in the city or in the county, we still have to provide service for those people. Whether it's silver paper, answering calls, animal calls, things like that. So therefore, we're asking you all to assist us in that matter. If you look at your year, the pamphlet Ms. Burgess just passed out, year 2021 has a variety of calls, and you can keep that. Last year, we answered over 16,857 calls. That's service. This year, we're just in the 5th month. As of today, we've answered 9,656 calls, and that was as of 11 o'clock this morning. 9,000. So we're going to pretty much double the number that we had on last year. There's no doubt. We've been thankful. We've been grateful. We know that we signed a lease with Enterprise Rental, roughly some vehicles. We just hired 2 guys on last week, but at the moment, I have nothing to put them in. Nothing against Ms. Burgess or anybody else. I have nothing to put them in. But they understand they've been hired. We're working on moving people out of certain cars and put them in another car, or we have space for them. I truly believe if we had the vehicle here as we anticipated back in 2021, we will be at full staff. There's no doubt. Everybody knows that we changed the way we hire people. We just don't bring them in. We make them take a written test. They take a physical agility test. They take a polygraph test. And last but not least, they take a psych evaluation test. That lets us know whether or not they're capable of doing the job. And we can put trust in them. Prior to taking the job, we also implemented a mandatory drug testing within the sheriff's office. Whenever your name is called, you're subject to being taken. And I've taken it. I've taken it, first of all. And that goes for every employee. Yeah, I've taken it. And that goes for every employee within that department. So therefore, we're getting qualified people who are willing to work and qualified. And we want to continue to do that because it's not about us. It's about the citizens of Jasper County. We serve you all. And that's what it's about. And in regards to that pamphlet, I know Chief Crosby has some things he wants to say as well. I'll give y'all a couple of numbers here. And I would love to put a traffic team in place here at the Sheriff's Office. And this is only on citation. In January, the Sheriff's Office wrote a total, and this is the amount, not tickets, $67,934 in citation in January. February, our total in citation fines was $96,079.01. March, it was $100,830.26. For this month, I think we're at about 930. Oh, well, last month, that's April. April, we were $92,569.25. A grand total in 4 months, $357,412.52. We, as this agency, don't get a penny of that. It comes to the county. And we're grateful to do this. We're being proactive. Not just standing here, just rattling off. I think we've shown within the last year and a half what we can do. Everybody knows about the camera system we put in place throughout the county. We allotted for 14 more here shortly. One of them, needless to say, when Dr. Brantley's brother went missing, we used that same camera to track where he went until we were able to locate him. If y'all look at Facebook, just the other day, we arrested a guy that was wanted out of Savannah, Georgia for murder. Picked up on that same camera right here in Jasper County, and we made an arrest on him. What those camera does is sends us alert when it picks up things like that, whether it's somebody who's been involved in armed robbery, murder, stolen vehicle, sends us alert whether it's by email or text, and it alerts dispatch. So they're able to dispatch us to the officers to those calls. We're putting up 14 more of those throughout the county to assist us in this matter. Again, I say, it's not about us. We're here to serve and protect the citizens of Jasper County. That's what it's about. I know y'all have that package. I'm going to let Chief Crosby speak here in regards to some other information we gathered. And if y'all have any questions after that, we're not going to take much of your time. If you have any questions, we'll be willing to answer. Ethan.
We actually put in our original budget request, we put in for 88 officers and 22 admin staff. And that is based off of your 10-year conference plan. It's not a number that we just come up with. That's what is owed according to this plan. It should be 22 officers per year, not counting admin staff. We were asked to trim that back. And we know that it was a major increase to the funding. We understand that.
We understand that.
But take into consideration that the national average for law enforcement is 2.1 officers per 1,000 citizens. We are currently at 1 officer per 1,800 citizens. Then you got to factor in that in 2021, there were 61,300 cars that passed between the Georgia state line and exit 5 on I-95. On average, it's 1.5 people per car. That's 91,950 more people that we are responsible for, regardless if they go through the city of Hardyville or Ridgeville. City of Hardyville and Ridgeville walked off the job. He is responsible for everybody in this county, regardless. So we are in dire need of more people to help protect the citizens. He also left off that we put a couple license plate readers on 2 of our cars. In just the past month, one of those cars read over 10,000 license plates. So that's more revenue that we can bring into the county.
And please understand, like I said, we were very proactive. I think some who don't know, I think Madam Chair knows, people calls in all the time, they're going out of town, they want to put security check on the residents. We're responsible for that. We do that. We go out to neighborhoods, they're Graham Hall subdivision, they're requested, and we do this periodically. 2 times a shift during the daytime, 2 times at night. and it happens throughout this county, not just here in Ridgeland, Hardyville, Robertville, we're responsible for these people. If they call for our service, we try to be there to help them. And again, we're asking for more officers because, as you heard the lady indicate earlier, animal control calls. It's just, if you look at that sheet, last year they answered over 1,100 calls. That one person. And then we get complaints about why nobody's out on the weekend, why nobody's out here in the evening time. Those are things we have to deal with. So we're trying to please everybody. We know we can't please everybody or make everybody happy. But we're trying to please some of the ones we can make happy. Again, we appreciate your time and your effort for what you do for us. I'm grateful for where y'all brought me from when we first took office. I'm not sure if Chief Crosby, yeah, I think. And I think Chief Crosby just pointed out, I don't know if this is in y'all handout, I don't think it's in. We're asking for information technology personnel. We're asking for another command staff, such as a captain, civil officer, another animal control officer, administrator, and those are personnel we're asking for. And if we can get it, I think with the numbers we have here, with people just being proactive on shift, if we can get a traffic unit, a traffic division, it would bring a great deal of money to Jasper County. 95 backed up, everybody decided to take 17. I'm not looking to work 95. We're looking to work the back roads, the roads that are here in the county.
That's where most of our tickets,
On 17?
that's where most of the tickets have been written, are on the back roads.
On the roads.
Our officers are not on 95 because they can't get off in time to respond to calls. Now, they wrote these tickets in between calls. They're just not out there working traffic, they're answering calls also.
Well, we thank you all for coming before us, and this council is fully aware as to what you're doing.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you. And we say hats off to you. You are doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
You're doing a great job, and we're going to continue to work with you. We might can't give you 88 deputies, but we might give me if we can do that.
We understand.
We want you to know we're working and we're doing everything that we possibly can to get you all up to par. There's so many of our departments are down and need to come up. And honestly and truly, I've been accused of giving the sheriff department more than we give anybody.
That's our responsibility then.
No, yeah, we know that. But I'm just saying, being accused for foolish stuff like that,
Tell them to call us,
Yeah.
explain to them it's not true.
We'd be glad to give them a ride and let them see what we do.
They know what you do.
What we face is on it. Do you know last night Colleton County had an officer that shot somebody?
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that?
Let me just say to the sheriff and the staff, we certainly appreciate your fiscal accountability
Thank you.
and your comparative analysis in your budget. Excellent.
Thank you very
Job
much.
well done.
Thank you very much. Any further questions?
Yeah, somebody want to ask a
Sure.
question real quick.
Just to make sure I'm following you, the budget for 2022 that was approved was just say 2.2 million, and y'all's request would bring that to 3.8. Is that right? And then currently, how many officers do you have in-house?
We've got 59 total positions, that's including civilians too.
And those are filled.
Those are,
Well, if we had the vehicles, put them in, all my positions would be filled, but I'm waiting, like I said, I got 2 starting in about 2 weeks. We make a shifting with vehicles.
Well, I'm just trying to, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is how many do you have filled and how many are left that's to be filled and
We had 7, with the 2 coming in, be 5. That's not counting Detective Gergerus, who passed away. And we were awarded a grant for 2 more officers. So that actually put us down to 2 officers that we should have, along with the 2 officers with the grant in Gergerus' position that we're looking to fill.
so, well, all right.
we had a total of 7.
Madam Chair,
Okay.
if I can, the sheriff had a vacancy issue for a while.
Oh, I did.
Like that, I mean, he has normal vacancies now, but I don't think he has the problem he had before.
Now, when we came in office, I think we were down to 14 officers.
Yeah.
So in the, I guess in the budget, you need money to hire how many officers out now? Is that
Let's say 10.
10? Okay.
And that's,
I'm just trying.
I know Jeff said half. He's out of 88. Jeff said we could do 44.
88, was 88 your goal that you're trying to reach? Is that?
Yes, that's where we should be at today.
Okay. And we're at 59.
We're, no, not in officers, that's in total positions. So if you count,
The
according
88
to
number is officers, Jeff, or is that total?
according to the comprehensive plan, it should be 88 officers and
Officers.
22 admin staff.
Gotcha, okay.
And our 59 is the total number of staff that we have, period, counting the sheriff.
Well, what would be a number that would make y'all happy on, I mean, if we can't do 10, and I'm not saying we can't, I'm just asking, is it 5? What, is it 6, 7? I mean, what?
Maybe 9.
Yeah.
Maybe 9. Now
Maybe 9.
I trimmed that traffic enforcement back to 4 instead of 5 because I look at because we.
I guess what what I'm not saying is that, you know, we've got to look at all the departments'
Yes,
budgets.
sir.
And our council's first and foremost responsibility is public safety. So in my mind, it's always been funding the sheriff's department and emergency services. Everything else is second.
We appreciate that.
So, I just, you know, that's a large ask. And if we have it, I'd be the first one to make the motion to give it to you. I don't know that we do have it, is what I'm saying. But I know there's a lot of ask, and I just didn't know if there was a prioritization. And you can get it to me later or something, say, Marty, these are the top 5 that are most important to making our department function the way we want it to. You know, just to kind of help us as a council, and I think maybe the other council members might appreciate that information too, because, you know, you don't have to answer that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you want to just shoot me a text,
I can.
however you want to do it, just say, Marty, these are like my top 5, or this is my top 12 asks that are most important.
Okay.
Just to kind of help us,
Send it all in an email,
whatever's easier.
that way you could all get it.
Everybody
Low
get it.
maintenance, whatever works.
Again, we appreciate y'all. Thank
Yes,
y'all
sir.
for what y'all
Appreciate
do.
y'all. Thank you for coming.
Any questions?
Jeff said that-
One question. On the 7th, you asked for another animal control officer. Is that part of it, or is that something different?
That's part of it.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
did say, when you was mentioning that, you said you needed administrator? That's what
Yeah.
I just wanted to be sure. I was wondering what you're talking about, Andy.
Good too, good job on this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, we thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is the food 95 or 70? Is the food here?
I have not heard her from you yet. She's probably delayed, but I will text her.
Okay, that's gonna end our budget workshop for today. And you can read the Senate.
Yes, ma'am.
Ready to go into the
In compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, notice of meetings and agendas were posted and furnished to all news media and persons requesting notification. At this time, we're going into our executive session. A public body may hold a meeting closed to the public for one or more of the following reasons. 1, discussion of employment, appointment, compensation, promotion, demotion, discipline, or release of an employee, a student, or a person regulated by a public body, or the appointment of a person to a public body, engineering services. Number 2, discussion of negotiations, incident, post-contract arrangements, and proposed purchase or sale of property, the receipt of legal advice, where the legal advice related to the pending threat or potential claim, or other matters covered by the attorney-client privilege, settlement of legal claims, or the position of a public agency, and other adversary conditions, situations involving the assertion against the agency of the claim, opioid litigation, election matters, professional services, MV Con, Exit 3, and election matters.
Number 5, discussion of matters relating to the proposed location expansion or provision of services encouraging location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by a public body. Project Silverman, Jasper Ocean Terminal, Prospect Update, Chelsea South, CSP Development, and Project Craft.
At this time, I'm called for motion to go into executive session.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.